This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
Hey, welcome to the Simply Superior Springer Mountain Farms Acuff Living Room Studio. We are right in the big middle of Mr. Acuff's house in the living room that sits on the Grand Ole Opry Plaza. I'm Bill Cody. That's Charlie Manos. After a long weekend, did you get to stay with Dolly? Did she invite you guys to do a little sleepover a couple of nights?
Well, if by, the Heart Song Resort, then yes, I stayed with Dolly.
So you didn't stay at the house?
No, I stayed in a much smaller room at the fair price.
But you ate well, you said.
Ate very well.
Good,
Yes. Also paid for that, too. No, it was great. It was the Food and Flower Festival. It was like opening weekend, and Easter weekend is just always special there anyway. They had a sunrise service out on the lawn. It was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great. I was the only one in my family awake for the sunrise service, but still, so.
Okay.
Yeah. Kelly and her family grilled out. Didn't get a call. Kept thinking maybe. But
No. Sorry about that.
Just all I saw was an exit photo from the family.
I will tell you.
Your dad was dragging your mother to the car.
They were in and out this time.
They were in and out. They came Friday and they were gone after service wrapped up we went to the 9 o'clock at 10:10 probably, 10:15 because we talked in the parking lot, much to his chagrin, and I made him take pictures. He was on the road back to Indiana, so 10:15 he was out.
Morning, Gene, if you're up. If he's up, he's driving, that's for sure.
That's for sure, yeah. It's been a busy weekend. Hopefully everybody had a good one. Did you have a good one?
I did. Rebecca has not been well, so thank you for filling in for me Saturday.
Oh, yeah. Friday night.
At the Opry. I hated to miss, and John Party, I know you had a post-show sit down with him, and I also saw the stuff you did on Amazon prior to that, so you were good to go.
It went the way you thought it was going to go. He came in and he goes, "What are we doing?" No, my favorite was we do an after-show amp every once in a while, and we call it amp. That's kind of an internal thing, but it's basically a Q&A, and so he goes out and he's talking to everybody on the Opry stage, and I guess they told him, "Hey, make sure that you plug the after-show thing," and so he goes, "Hey, we're going to do something after the show. I'm not really sure what it is. I'm not sure how y'all get into it. I think you got to buy my album or something like that. But yeah, I mean, should be a good time."
Hey, we did a talk shop live at the barn at his house. All right.
Yes.
And he was on camera sitting down and we were talking. And then all of a sudden they give me a cue to go. We're live.
Yeah.
And I welcome everybody in. He goes, "Hey, is this live? We doing this live?"
It was so funny. He's so funny.
What? What
So
were you
great.
thinking?
By the way, when you were in the barn, did you see the cats when you were there?
No.
Okay.
No.
Because he had 4 cats, and they were called the Kardashians, and he named them after the Kardashians. So it was like Kim and Rob and Kylie, and I don't remember the other one.
But I wasn't in the barn.
Chris.
I was like the stock barn. I was in the barn that is a studio.
The nice barn.
Yeah,
Okay.
the nice barn.
Yeah. He had the Kardashians, and I got an update. I said, "How the Kardashians doing?" And he goes, "Yeah, they're all dead."
Wow.
I was like, "John!"
All of
and he
them?
goes, "Well, it wasn't my fault. I mean, they were outdoor cats." And I was like, "Oh my gosh."
Right.
Just zero filter. And that's why we love John Party.
Yes,
Okay.
Thinking not all cats have 9 lives, apparently.
Well, maybe they did.
you
It
live
was
at
just
the-
a really rough time on the farm.
Live at the party ranch.
Maybe.
Yeah, look out. But again, thank you for jumping in there on Friday night and taking care of that. But
It was fun.
All in all, a good weekend. And Charlie, what was you were referencing a significant anniversary related to sports a minute ago. What was that?
I was. What was I referencing?
It was your Opry anniversary.
Yes, 9 years over the weekend. I did that.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was the Memphis Grizzlies blowout loss. It was the 5th worst loss in NBA playoff history by 51 points.
Oh, well.
Yes.
Well, the 151st Run for the Roses, the greatest 2 minutes in sports, is coming on the weekend of, May 3rd is actually Derby Day. And our friend Lana Scott is coming to see us with Running for the Roses, and she's got a gig at Churchill Downs with a full band.
It's Boston Marathon Day. That's what you were referencing. Yeah, 129th Boston Marathon.
Okay. Hey, coming up, Kelsey Ballerini. She pulled a Hannah Montana on us, and we didn't know it. So if you saw her on tour, she was hiding a secret.
Okay.
I will share that with you coming up. Also, Sheryl Crow turned down The Voice. I did not know this. And now she's rethinking what she's doing with The Voice. And Billy Ray Cyrus might have a new girlfriend, and she's pretty famous. So, we'll spread some rumors coming up.
More coffee, country, and Cody is on WSM.
Well, for many of you, into your life in the living room on The Voice first, but she's become a regular in this studio with us on Coffee, Country, and Cody, both at the hotel and now in the Simply Superior Acuff House living room studio on the Grand Ole Opry
Beautiful,
Plaza.
by the way.
That's right.
Wow.
And let me
welcome.
say, for those of you watching on Circle Television around the world this morning, circlecountry.com, and your favorite streaming platform, you can link from there. Monet would be so proud of that dress right now.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Thank you. Trying to bring some sunshine on this rainy day today.
Thank you.
Oh, we're so happy that you came back to see us.
Thank you for having me.
So the last time we were getting ready, it was probably this time last year, wasn't it?
I think so,
Yeah.
yes,
Well,
yeah.
you came back. I wasn't here, so I haven't had a chance to see you. But you got to sing the national anthem at the Oaks, which is
Yes.
the big race before the Derby.
Yes,
How
ma'am.
did that all come about?
You know, when I was on The Voice, I did a tribute to my dad for Dedication Week, who was working at Ford. So all these Ford workers came out with signs, supported me. Now, Ford is a huge sponsor of Churchill Downs.
Mm-hmm.
They reached out to me right after the show, and they were like, we'd love for you to sing the anthem for Ford Day. So I fell in love with Churchill Downs and the culture, learned so much. And they've been inviting me back like 2 times a year ever since. And now we're friends, and here we are.
Well, there are a couple of Ford plants in Louisville,
Yes,
too.
and that's the one my dad just retired from, 30
Oh, no
years.
kidding.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Oh my gosh. That's
And he's got
incredible.
horses. I grew up riding horses with him. He's the reason that I love this culture. So it's all full circle.
So take me back to the Kentucky Oaks is known as the Derby for fillies.
Yes, yep.
And what that day was like when was your first trip to Churchill Downs?
That was about my 3rd trip there, but
Okay.
the first one for such a major event as the Oaks. And I learned there's so much that goes into this. It was the 150th last year, and they raised money for breast and ovarian cancer. They have a cancer survivors parade that I got to sing some songs for, and it's all female horses. So that's the lilies for the fillies, and then Derby is the roses for
Run
the
for the
male
roses.
roses.
Yeah.
Yes, but that was so wild. I always say singing on The Voice is one thing because people are watching from home, but being in front of 100,000 people singing an a cappella anthem, nothing will ever compare to that. That was just wild. And the roar of the crowd and hearing them singing with me was amazing.
So let's talk about The Voice.
Yeah.
Go back to that experience because we're in the thick of it again. Are you
Yeah.
watching? Do you watch it at all? Or
I
is
do.
It, okay. I was wondering
Yeah.
because it would be, I think in one way it would be really cool and fascinating to watch because you know what they're going through.
Yes, yeah.
But also a little bittersweet because you miss it.
Yeah. I had auditioned 6 times before I made it on the show.
I don't think I knew that.
Perseverance pays off. I love telling people that.
Did
'cause
you do it in different locations each time? Or?
I did some. One audition was in Nashville, one was in New York, one was in LA.
Wow. Did you
And
change songs every time?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I would adjust it a little bit. And then they started asking me to come
Right,
back
sure.
at that point, and I'll never say no to a great opportunity.
Sure.
But I think because I had auditioned so many times so persistently, by the time I got there, I really appreciated it. So I felt so present. And to make it so far, I never thought or dreamed I'd make it to the top 8. And
Yeah.
so I just really savored that moment. And I miss it, but I also think about sitting here right now with y'all. I would never, to me, life is just getting better.
What team would you have been on as a finalist?
Team Blake.
Team Blake.
Team Blake. So thankful I was there while he was still there.
Right.
Kelly, did you have a story that Sheryl Crow turned down an opportunity? Was that The Voice?
The first season, they asked if she would be like one of the judges, and she said no.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And now she's coming back. She's going to be working with Kelsey Ballerini.
Is she? Oh, cool.
On Team Kelsey. But yeah, it's fun to watch and to see how when you're under that type of pressure, how it builds character. And I think also you see the people who are road tested. Immediately you're like,
Absolutely.
they've
Yep.
been on stage many times, which that was your case from doing theater your whole life and
Yeah.
being on stages forever. So that probably felt way more comfortable for you than somebody that had never really been in that kind of a situation.
I don't know how people do that. As
Right?
some people will say on the show, I've never sang in front of an audience, and then there they are. I don't know how they do it. But some people just have it, and it's amazing to see
Yeah.
how they'll just come alive like they're meant to do that.
Well, take us back to your childhood. When did you realize you had it and this is what you wanted to do?
I think I was about 6 years old when I sang I Believe I Can Fly in church.
And where was this?
This was in Virginia,
Okay.
Chesapeake, Virginia. I just always loved singing, and my parents always encouraged it. They saw that I loved it, and they encouraged it. I'm an only child, so I had a lot of cousins and friends, but when I was home, my hobby was I wanted the latest CD. I was listening to Kelly Clarkson and Faith Hill and just learning songs and getting them memorized and singing, and then I would perform them for my family. But I was so shy for a while, and then that changed as I got older.
So, do you sing the actual national anthem of our country, or the only child national anthem, which I have dubbed Toby Keats? I want to talk about me. Because Kelly and I are both only
That
children.
is good.
So always remove your hat when you hear that song. The only child
That is
national anthem.
rich.
Listen,
Thank you.
they're
That's a good one.
only children
Raising
only children.
Are you?
Well, you gotta,
My
we're the
life.
best. We got to keep it going. Why would we not keep that lineage alive?
That's right. About me. You want to talk about that?
That's so good.
For the rest of us, it's a living hell, frankly.
Pretty much.
Did you feel like competition with your sibling? I mean, I wonder. I always wanted a little friend at home. So.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I never wanted a little friend.
You're happy. You're happy.
Me neither. I like the
I
spotlight.
don't want a little friend now, to be honest.
Turning up Toby Keith. I love it.
That's it. That's it.
Hey, we're going to get to the new single, Running for the Roses. We mentioned the Kentucky Derby and the
yes.
Oaks. And the Oaks for you last year, you did the anthem.
Yes.
But you're doing a full band show this year, and we'll talk more about that before we play it. But we're going
Yeah.
to feature a song called Bartender.
Yes.
So is this an original?
This is an original. I wrote it here in town at Curb with Tiffany Goss and Kurt Gibbs. I was driving through town and I thought this would be such a good play on words that I haven't heard yet. It's called Bartender, 2 separate words, and it's about something we all know pretty well, going out to the bar, trying to prove to your friends and really yourself that you're over this person who broke your heart. Okay. But it turns out the more you drink, the more the truth comes out. It might have been a little too tender to go to the bar.
Oh, nice.
A drunk man's talk is a sober man's walk. Isn't that how that goes or something like that?
I hadn't heard that. That's good.
Here's Bartender. Lana Scott is all over the world on WSM Radio and Circle Country Television, circlecountry.com.
This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
We continue with Lana Scott. Going to get a live performance of her single, Running for the Roses, and that's all in conjunction with her appearance at the Kentucky Derby on the first weekend in May. 151-year tradition rolls on. The Run for the Roses, fastest 2 minutes in sports. And when you say full band, how many pieces are you going to have up there cranking?
Let's see. Me, guitar, fiddle, bass, drums. So it'll be all 5 of us.
And who's this handsome guitar player you picked up on Briley
I've
Parkway?
got the best guitar player in the business, y'all. His name is Sean Beck. I found him in California, and I was able to bring him over here to Nashville. This is my husband, my best friend, and truly the best guitar player I know. So I get to do what I love with who I love, I always say.
Do you guys play together at home, or is it kind of one of those where you're like, all right, we just need to be us and no more music for a minute?
You know, we've started doing this worship thing in the morning where Sean will get at the piano and we'll sing together and when we're tired and just waking up. And that's been really sweet. But we wrote this song together, y'all. I got to tell you, we wrote this song in our living room together. And the day that I told Sean that I was asked to play at the Derby, he said, why don't we write a song about it? So,
Oh, wow.
Easy yes.
Well, we mentioned your history with the Oaks,
Yes.
the Derby for fillies. You know, 3 fillies have actually won the Derby. Because the Oaks is only for fillies, but fillies can run in the Derby. They just don't often choose to do so.
I don't think
but
I
yeah,
knew that.
Yeah,
I didn't
Winning
know
Colors, Genuine Risk, and Regret have all
Wow.
won. Yeah,
I
and a
thought it
bunch.
was
there's-
only men.
No, usually at least one every year seems to try.
Charlie,
out.
what year was Genuine Risk?
That was 1980, and Winning Colors was 1988.
Remember
So
when
it's
I-
been 37 years since it's happened, but it has happened.
Wow. Fun
1980.
fact.
During my years at WHAS, flagship station for the Kentucky Derby, right there in the infield,
Wow.
with all those well-behaved folks from all over the world.
Well-behaved folks in the infield.
You know, one of the things they do, people, there are U.S. flags from all the different states, but there also are the flags of different countries that are represented. That's a big thing. They stick them in the ground and
Yeah.
kind of claim their territory out there. And it is amazing
It
where
is.
people are from all
Yes.
over the world.
Yes. It's great for people watching. You get to see all the different hats people pick, and they're from all over the world, all these different accents as you're talking to people.
What did you call what she wore at the Oaks?
A
Kel?
fascinator. So when you performed last year, instead of the hat, it was a fascinator, which is more like a headband with an accoutrement on the top. Like a little flower, something beautiful. And yours was purple last year. I remember. It was beautiful.
Thank you.
It was gorgeous. What are we wearing this year? With the most important part.
Yes, I just had a fitting. I'm excited. I'm wearing a denim dress with pearl details.
Okay.
White boots, and I'm doing a white hat / fascinator. So we're combining it. We're going to incorporate a rose for the song.
And you got a good hat connection. What's your hat connection?
Yes, the hat girls have been wonderful. So I'm probably going to work with them again this year.
Okay.
That's amazing.
That's a look for you.
I'm a fascinator,
lose
man,
that fedora and go with a fascinator at the Opry,
At the
buddy.
Opry, man, I could pull it off. You know?
I think you could.
Thank you.
It'd be really, really
I'd like
good.
to see it.
I'm there tomorrow night. We'll give it a shot. Let's see. So,
If we went back to Chesapeake, Virginia, would people say, "Oh, we just knew it was a matter of time that Lana Scott would become Lana Scott"?
Oh.
Is that?
I will say I have a lot of support back home.
Good.
So people say things like that to me, and it's very, very touching. I was just home, and somebody at Target recognized me from the voice, and he was like, I was in the football field when Oscar Smith held up the banner to support you. I was holding the banner. So it's amazing running into people at home, and they're great.
That's so cool. Okay, what's left on the bucket list? Let's go there, because now you've been on The Voice, you performed at the Oaks. I mean, you're writing songs. What is on the bucket list that you really want to do?
Entertainer of the Year.
The Grand Ole Opry, y'all.
Okay.
The Grand Ole Opry. Right. That's my dream.
And then Entertainer of the Year.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But that circle, of course, that has always been the dream. That is definitely, like, I don't know what would be beyond that.
Do you still hear Blake Shelton's voice saying, "You're great. You're great. Come to Nashville. Country music needs you. Kelly will agree. Kelly will agree."
Yes. He was a big part in that, because I always wanted to come to Nashville and I could see it, but I was just a little intimidated. I think there's just so many great artists here in town, but he spoke a lot of life over me and encouraged me. And I remember telling him, I said, thank you for speaking life. He goes, "Speaking life? What's that?" And I was like, just encouraging me, because he's like, "Oh, you got to come to Nashville. You have to." And he secured Ole Red for me, so that's been my home base. When I'm in town, love playing there.
I hate to think that my brain and Blake Shelton's brain worked the same, but I needed to know what that meant too. I did speaking life. What does that mean?
It's life-giving.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's a compliment. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
As a preacher's kid, I've lived it. So I know. Absolutely. Well, if you're going to do that new single, this would be the perfect time to do it.
Yeah.
It's called Running for the Roses, and Lana Scott headed to the Kentucky Derby May 3rd with a full band show. Good for you, Lana Scott. Thanks for sharing that all over the world on WSM Radio and Circle Country Television. And we're going to speak life over you that one day you'll step in that circle at the Grand Ole Opry.
That means a lot coming from y'all.
Since the Right Reverend Blake Shelton is not here, I'll take this.
Thank y'all. I appreciate that. Such an honor.
And mint juleps after the gig.
That's what I always say, and what I do.
Maybe one before, just to kind of,
Just a little sip.
Just
warm up the vocal cords.
Exactly.
The vocal cords.
Medicine.
Yeah.
Lana Scott, Running for the Roses, and it's available wherever people get
Everywhere.
their music.
Yes, sir. Just came out last Friday.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you both for coming to see us this morning.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure. WSM and the Grand Ole Opry celebrating 100 years this year, all year long. We'd love for you to come be a part of it. If you have, come back. If you haven't, make it a trip. Make it a plan, all right, to come see us. And it's Opry100.com, WSMradio.com for more information.
Our friend Mackie Baugh is back on the Opry tomorrow. Very excited for that. And Wednesday, James Bay is making his Opry debut. I am so excited for that.
That is going to be so cool.
Yeah, I mean, certainly one of the biggest songs of the last decade. If you go back, I mean, a Grammy Award winner, I think. So, yeah, very excited for him.
And have you watched any of his social media?
A little, yeah.
He's very funny.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the podium chat.
Extremely dry,
yes.
but very funny. Mm-hmm. And at one point, I think he had something going where if his new single went to number 1, he would change his name and he would allow the fans to name him. And
Don't ever do that.
And it didn't. It didn't go to number 1. And he was like, thank God it didn't go to number 1 because I didn't want to change my name legally. So, there's a whole thing about it. It was very funny.
follow up on Lana Scott and Running for the Roses, and I really appreciate her doing that live this morning on Coffee Country and Cody. And on May 3rd, she will be. It's a full band show that she's doing. She did the national anthem for the Oaks last year, and they invited her back. But the post-position draw, the pill pull as they call it, is set for 6:15 Central on Saturday the 26th, April the 26th. So then you got a week to decide how you're going to bet this thing, all right? And then post time for the Derby, it's a little later than it normally is because it usually rolls around 5:30, 5:40, but for Central. But it's 5:57 is post time this year.
Okay.
Which is 6:50. I mean, you can look at 7 o'clock in Louisville.
Yeah, well, but I'm trying to think. Well, no, because it's always the first weekend in May, so I guess it doesn't matter. I was going to say because of Easter, did it push it back? No, because it's always the first weekend in May, so it doesn't matter.
So, help me. Does somebody sing My Old Kentucky Home like a lead vocalist?
I just looked it up, and they just said it's the University of Louisville Marching Band.
And then everybody sings
People sing along.
Everybody sings along.
Okay.
And it's 200 years old.
Unlike Jim Neighbors for years with Back Home Again.
Back Home Again in Indiana. Mm-hmm. Oh, I remember. My grandma loved him.
Back Home Again in Indiana.
Right before the 500.
Listen, when they get to Weep No More, My Lady, it is the most, it's like a spiritual
magical.
moment. It's like a moment, maybe your favorite hymn or something in church, and this emotion wells up inside of you. And if you've never heard John Prine do My Old Kentucky Home, you need to find that. It's a Grammy Award-winning album that Tamara Saviano put together with various artists doing Stephen Foster songs.
Oh.
And he, of course, John, chose My Old Kentucky Home.
That is so cool.
Because Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County? Huh?
That's right. Oh, my gosh. Okay, well, listen to this. Our friend Kelsey Ballerini, she wrapped up her tour.
Yeah.
Last tour stop, she fell on her butt, but she laughed about it and she posted it on social media. So I love her for that because she's a real one.
And
like if stuff happens, she's like, yeah, this is what's going on. But then
Singing Friends in Low Places.
Right, Friends
That's
in Low
the
Places.
creme de la creme
Boom.
right there.
And then hit a pose. So she posted this video. She said, this is the last end of tour shed. Look at this video and you'll understand what she means. She was living in a secret the whole time.
Hold on tight.
They start undoing the glue around her wig. Isn't that crazy? I had no idea this was a wig, y'all.
Yeah, if she fooled you and like someone who knows her that well,
Yes.
it's really good.
I
Yeah.
guarantee they really had that wig made to match her hair.
It's not from Target.
No, that didn't
okay.
come. That's no Temu wig right there.
Where'd you get your wig?
I got my wig from Halo. I don't have it in. This is me today. This is
How do
all
we
me.
know? How can we trust you?
You give it a yank. It's on there. I don't, but she said, it's so smart. She said I was pulling a Hannah Montana the whole time. I would put my wig on and I would go out and perform and then take my wig off at the end. But it was to protect her hair because if you are on stage over and over and over again and you have to tease it and spray it and curl it, and trust me, I know, it does a lot of damage to your hair. So every night she would braid her hair in 2 little pigtails, get them braided, and then have them underneath of a wig cap. And then they'd put her wig on her and she'd go out and perform for everybody. And this was the last one.
I'm going to tee you up for the best answer I've ever heard to a question. Dolly, how long does it take to do your hair?
I don't know. I'm never in the room when it's done.
It's such a great answer.
It sure is.
So we talked about this just a little bit with Lana Scott, but The Voice, it is a juggernaut. Everyone has seen it, has been on it, has been around it. You know somebody who's auditioned for it, I'm sure. The interesting thing is Sheryl Crow was asked to join The Voice when the show first aired, and she passed.
Oh,
She
wow.
was like, yeah, I don't think that's for me, but thank you for asking. Now she's going to be serving as a mega mentor on season 27 alongside Leanne Rimes. Leanne Rimes is coming back as well, and she's going to be working with Kelsey Ballerini. She said, you know what? I just love Kelsey, and I would love to help her. She said, here's the other thing. At the time when they asked me, I had a newborn, and I did not want to move back to LA for this. She said it was just going to uproot my whole family. So even though she passed on it then, Sheryl Crow going to be a part of The Voice now.
Well, you're up to date on Coffee, Country, and Cody all over the world on WSM Radio and from the stage of the Grand Ole Opry. Who's in this particular segment?
Kelly was hanging out with him just 48 hours ago, Mr. John Party.
She just came from his arms right there.
Working
Kelly
the
Sutton.
night shift.
That's it.
Right.
Coffee, Country, and Cody and 100 years of the Grand Ole Opry.
From WSM Radio, this is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
And they have been with us so many times through the years, but the first time in the Simply Superior A-Cuff House, Mr. Roy's living room, is where you sit looking out on the 100-year tradition of WSM Radio and the Grand Ole Opry. Smithfield, good morning and welcome.
Morning. Thank y'all for having us.
What do you think about the new place? We love it.
This is amazing. I feel the spirits of the Opry right here in this room. So,
Well, the Assembly Food Hall stage that you're sitting on, that is wood from the Rymans, so that's probably it. That's what you're feeling.
I mean, I'm feeling something special for sure. First time in here, like you said, it's crazy.
Yeah, welcome
So are you
in.
tasting Crown and Cranberry at all?
I'm tasting coffee right now. But
Yes, Jen lit up like a Christmas tree. You have coffee? Oh, yes, show me.
I needed a
please.
hit.
but maybe with some cranberry notes in there or something. You know.
We learned from the late Charlie Daniels' longtime manager, David Corlew, recently that they would come over here and partake of Crown and Cranberry.
Oh, okay.
Does that not sound awful?
I feel like that should be a special coffee blend you guys like trademark
Maybe
here.
as coffee,
Crown and
not
cranberry.
as alcohol. It just
Sounds like it
sounds
should be
awful.
Coffee.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Sounds like cough syrup.
Oh, it
Yeah,
kinda
maybe.
does.
Yeah.
Well, get you loosened up in the morning. I mean, since this weather is so beautiful.
There you go. Yeah.
We're going to get to Heaven Has a Grand Ole Opry here in just a little bit, but let's catch up on you guys and what's going on. You spent Easter at the beach, you said. That was a new thing
did.
for you?
A new thing for me. Came back with a nice little tan and had some fun with family and spent Easter on the beach and then back at it here with Trey.
And I was here in Nashville. I was not on the beach, so she just left me here.
Oh, did you find eggs in the sand? How does that work when you're at the beach?
I did not, but the 10 kids screaming and running around looking for eggs did. We also did this really cool thing where we taped eggs on all the guys. Did y'all see this going around socials? You tape all the eggs on T-shirts, and they ran around, and all the kids would play tag, and each kid had a different color egg.
Oh.
So then it's I guess more fun than picking them out of the sand or the grass.
It's the first time I'm hearing this, so.
That's kind of cool.
It's all over social media. It was actually really cute.
Okay.
That was
So,
fun.
what were your respective Texas Easter traditions as you think back to your childhood?
Ooh. I mean, definitely getting dressed to the nines and going to Sunday service.
Absolutely.
My dad was a pastor, so we always did the sunrise service.
Oh, yeah.
Which when I was like 5 or 6 was awesome. When I was 12 or 13, I hated it. But he would still drag me out of bed in the morning.
I don't know about your dad, but my dad was a pastor as well.
That's right.
And we did it the old-fashioned way. We went to the cemetery.
Oh.
Yeah.
You did sunrise service in the cemetery?
Thank you very much.
I see the concept, though.
Yes.
Wow.
See what they're doing. See what they did there?
I see what he did there.
Whoa.
How about you, Jennifer?
Well, ours was always surrounded by good home cooking. So my family, it's a tradition. We make fried pork chops, mashed potatoes, green beans, strawberry salad, and 10 different desserts. And you eat all day. He has risen, and so has my belly. You know what I mean?
There you go.
That's the concept.
Put that on a T-shirt.
Yes.
And strawberry salad really should count as a dessert.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about
Yeah.
it. The fact that it's called salad, but
It's not salad.
It's not
There's no
salad.
greens.
No.
It's
Southern
like Jell-O
salad.
and marshmallows.
And pretzels. Did you all do pretzels in
We
it
do
too?
pecans.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's real good.
That's tasty.
So you're at the Basement East 7:30 tomorrow night. What is the Road Ready Talent Contest?
Y'all, it's kind of, I guess, a big deal.
It's definitely a big deal.
Yeah, we're kind of a big deal.
Come on.
So out of 14,000 submissions, American Songwriter, which is a prestigious outlet, it's the first time they ran this show and contest. We entered the song we're actually going to play live for y'all today called We'll Figure It Out. And out of 14,000 submissions, they picked our song top 100, then top 50, then top 25. Now we're in the top 3.
Oh.
And then the top 3 have to do you remember in the 90s, Battle of the Bands?
Sure.
Okay, that's what we're going to have to do Tuesday
Basically
night.
what we're doing, yeah.
Tomorrow night at the Basement East, the top 3 will perform live, and they will pick the winner.
So do you already have foam fingers in the trunk of your car?
Absolutely.
You become the number one choice.
That's right. We'll throw the glow sticks out and just, get it going.
I've always wanted my
Yeah.
own big head, that they put in back when you're shooting free throws, like the giant Charlie head up there.
Charlie, where are you at, man? You got to show up with that thing.
So I'm curious, though, because you guys have played before, huge crowds out on the road, 4,000 plus at the Opry House.
Yeah.
The Basement East holds, if you cram them in, 575.
Yes.
What's harder? 25,000 or 575?
I think 575 personally.
Yeah, I think the less is always
We
harder.
talked about this before because when there's enough people out there, you can't really focus on one person, and so it's almost like it kind of just blurs the lines between people. When there's less people, you can actually look people in the eye and you feel more judged.
So who is judging? Speaking of that, do you know the panel, or is it everybody in the audience? How does it work?
Everybody in Nashville's a judge.
With their arms crossed and they're barely clapping.
That's absolutely
Sitting
true.
in the back.
Yes.
Right. I know.
Well, they told us originally it was going to be 3 judges, and then they changed it, and they're like, no, we're going to put QR codes up, and whoever shows up, they're going to just vote live.
They get to vote.
They get to vote. So come out if you're in Nashville tomorrow night. Show's at 7. Come vote for us. Come see us.
Yeah, I'm
live.
not going to tell you who to vote for, but vote for Smithfield.
I'm just going to ask this.
Smithfield.
I'm not trying to stack the ballot box, but what's to keep you from taking a picture of the QR code and putting it on social media?
I mean, okay, Cody.
That is fair. That is fair.
What's to keep you from doing that? Because I know I can't be there, but I for sure would like to vote.
Yeah.
So
This is why Kelly has a prison background.
that was all expunged. Those charges did not stick.
I want to talk more about this.
Thank you very much. It was a 1 year in Kentucky, and it was a long time ago.
Oh, well, we've all been
But
there.
seriously, I mean,
Yeah.
okay, we'll talk after the show.
Yeah.
We won't put it out there on the air, but watch their socials.
How long is the Smithfield story now? How many years in the making since you guys first started?
12?
No, it's been, since we started. We moved to Nashville.
You're right. We're in, 12 in Nashville, but
13 or 14 together.
yeah, but also we've known each other since we were little kids, since we were 10 years old.
So really 30 plus years or something?
Yeah, long
Crazy.
time.
And how many times have you played the Opry now? Was it 40 plus times?
It's right around 40. It's either
Yeah.
at 40 or just over.
It's either 39 or 40. We don't know until the next time we play. It's either going to be the 40th or...
Call somebody to get the records straight. So
They got them, trust me.
Yeah.
So what do you remember about your first night?
Oh, gosh. I just remember feeling like all my dreams were coming true because my whole life, I grew up in Texas playing little Opries all over the state, and the Opry was like the Super Bowl of that because it was the real thing. So I just remember feeling like, I made it. We're here. We're
Speaking
doing
of which,
it.
you got our cease and desist on the little Opries all around the state. Right?
yeah. We'll talk. We can cut all this.
That's fine.
So we're going to feature that new single right now, right, Charlie? All over the world on WSM Radio, Circle Country Television is your link to your favorite streaming platform. And we sit here in the middle of this rich 100-year history every single day in the Acuff House Living Room studio, looking out at the entrance to the Grand Ole Opry House. Smithfield, Jen and Trey are in this morning, and heaven has an Opry.
Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSM.
And Smithfield is on stage tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, Tuesday, 7 o'clock, Basement East. And we're going to get Heaven Has a Grand Ole Opry here in just a little bit. Or we just heard that. We're going to get the song that you're going to do in competition that we were talking about a little earlier. So again, for people who just joined us, how does this all go down for the Road Ready Talent Contest?
Well, you can still grab your tickets. You can vote live when you come to see us live tomorrow night. If you can't be there, you can still help us win the competition by going online to do what they call the Publix Pick. And that is open until 10 p.m. tomorrow. You can vote once a day per email. So follow us at Smithfield Music, and you can get the link directly from any of our socials to go vote right now. But we'd love to see you in person, obviously, so come out tomorrow night if you can.
Bring the foam fingers, as Charlie said.
Yes.
So who were your go-to artists, Jennifer, as like a 9-year-old girl, I think I read when you started going out and touring across Texas as a little one?
So I grew up singing on the same show as Leanne Rimes. So she was my hero. So it was Leanne, Shania, and Faith. Those were my, I love, Trisha and Martina, but those were just the 3 that, for whatever reason, I gravitated towards. And those were my heroes growing up.
How about you, Trey?
Those were actually mine, too. So. No way. You too? I loved Garth Brooks when I was a little kid. like he just did so many crazy, awesome things on stage that I'd never seen in country music. The Goo Goo Dolls are like the reason why I write music. Johnny Resnick and his songwriting just really inspired me. And Keith Urban. He's one of my big ones. Yeah, he's the guy that kind of showed me that what I was already doing kind of already existed in country music. So it was cool.
What was the name of that one of those early bands you were in, rock and roll bands?
It was called Ashford, and it was only because that's the name of the road that we practiced on. We were like, what do we call ourselves? Like, oh, that's cool. That's a sign, literally.
And what was your go-to? I mean, what was your music format?
It was like kind of that early 2000s Jimmy Eat World pop rock stuff going on.
All coming back around now.
It's kind of coming back around now, so
For
maybe
sure.
we'll just infuse that into what we do. You know, bring it back a little bit. You know.
That's another conversation.
Yeah, she's like, nope.
Don't think that's gonna happen, but that's cute.
Hey, yeah, she's like, just smile and nod.
But one of the interesting things about your duo is there is no lead singer as such and no single songwriter. It's a collaborative effort.
Yeah.
All the way through.
It has been since the beginning. We kind of made that the precedence right off the bat. We were just like, we don't want there to be, oh, she's the lead singer, he's the lead singer. It's like, it's a true duo. The harmony's the thing, and we each do our singing.
That's amazing. All right, what are you gonna do for us live?
We're going to sing the song that is getting us in the top 3 tomorrow night. This was the song we wrote when on a day we wanted to quit music, and we encouraged each other to keep going. It was a love letter to ourselves, and then ended up being a love letter to our fans from all over the world.
So is this streaming? People can be a part of
Absolutely.
it? Okay, just want to make sure people knew.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's so I don't know what you're going through out there if you're listening.
You're going through the rain today.
Going through the rain today. Let us encourage you with this one. It's called We'll Figure It Out.
Well, you got to figure it out on that one anyway.
Thank y'all.
Absolutely. And that's their competition song tomorrow night at Basement East. You can be a part of it. And you can also watch online if you can't make it.
Early exit polling, you have a 1-0 lead. Thank you very much.
No, Charlie's bringing it home.
So if no one else votes, I think we could just call it right now. Like it's over. You know, you're the winners.
Do it.
I
Call
love
it right
that.
now.
Yeah,
you
it's
said
very easy to vote.
It's
by the
one
way.
per email address.
Yes.
I have at least
And once a
5
day.
email addresses.
There you
so
go.
we just start racking them up.
Come on.
Again, I'm trying to say
Kelly's like finding.
we're gonna make this happen.
Finding
for
the
you, is what
way
I'm
here.
saying. As your manager now, I will thank you, Kelly.
Well, they have opened, if you're just joining us, Smithfield in studio this morning, and our longtime friends and frequent visitors to the show along the way opened for Brothers Osborne, Scotty McCurry, Kane Brown, Sarah Evans, who's now a Grand Ole Opry member Dustin Lynch, Old Dominion. They finally got the bar open.
Yeah,
Odie's.
Yeah, they got the bar open over the weekend.
Took a
Let's
while.
go.
Yeah. Took a while.
Easter weekend's when you want to open your
That's
bar.
when you do it.
But I'm curious, Charlie made a reference earlier to playing for 25,000 people or 525 people, which is more intimidating. What was a Morgan Wallen appearance like?
So the only thing you have to understand about that is it was early Morgan Wallen.
Oh,
So
okay.
it was like a smaller club. This was before he just went kaboom, which I might be aging myself here. But yeah, so it was like a little club in New Jersey or somewhere on the East Coast. So it was like before all the madness. But it was still pretty crazy. It was a crazy crowd still.
He's always had a crazy crowd.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's definitely intimidating because they're there to party.
That's right.
And we're there to make you cry. So
We just took a few shots, got out there and did our thing. So
yeah.
That's amazing.
Thanks for coming to see us.
Thank
Always
y'all.
a pleasure.
Great to see
Thank
you
y'all for
guys.
having us.
And
see
all the
you.
best with a new single. And can't wait to hear you doing it in the circle at the Grand Ole Opry. Jen Field or Trey Smithfield. And Heaven Has a Grand Ole Opry. In addition to what you just heard, wherever you get your music, their music is available to you. And the Basement East Live tomorrow night. Get there about 7 o'clock, all right?
More coffee, country, and Cody is on WSM.
Well, Trey of Smithfield referenced him as a huge influence earlier, said it really changed his game, and that was Keith Urban. Well, 13 years ago today, he became the newest member of the Grand Ole Opry, April 21st, 2012.
Can I tell you a fun story?
Please.
After we reopened the hotel after the major flood, they brought a lot of media folks out, and they had us, go through, see the renovations, how everything had been done, and they wined us and dined us and gave us a room that night. And they said, and we've got a special appearance for you. So we're all sitting in this banquet area, we're eating, and they said, ladies and gentlemen, Keith Urban. And Keith came out full band. And I mean, it's probably maybe 100 of us, maybe. And I look at my husband and he goes, go. And I jump up and run to the stage. There were like 7 or 8 of us that were like, it's Keith, we're going. So we bum rushed the stage. It was so much fun. It was one of the most incredible performances I've seen Keith give, just because it was so fun and he was playing with us and, asking us
Well, it
for
was time to
songs.
celebrate. We'd been through so much at that point. Yeah.
So,
Trace was there that night earlier in the evening. Yep.
So the next night, I happened to see Colin Reed. And I said, I have to ask, how did you get Keith Urban to come out here? And he said, oh, darling, Mr. Urban wants to be a member of the Grand Ole Opry. And literally 2 years later, he became a member. I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot you do hold the trump card, don't you?
It's good to be me. Yes.
I will never forget that. It was so funny.
Kingship is a good thing.
It's like,
as long as you're the king.
This is how it works. Got it.
Speaking of kings, a Grand Ole Opry star, and I mean in a huge, huge way in his era, born in 1924 on the 21st of April, Ira Louvin of the Louvin Brothers, who are in the Country Music Hall of Fame. And I love this little footnote. I shared it earlier, but for the later audience. In 1947, Hank Williams recorded Move Over, Hot Dog, Cold Dogs Are Moving In. At the Castle Studio, Move It On Over, his first big hit was recorded at our place. And I'm not sure where the studio was at that, but it was the Castle Recording Laboratory, you remember, as in Air Castle of the South. So the Castle Studio, it was his first major hit. It got in the top 5 on Billboard, and actually Bill Haley and the Comets covered it a decade or so later in rock and roll. And a lot of other people, including Hank Jr., of course.
Thank you for pointing that out, brother. It took you long enough.
Move over, skinny dog. The fat dog's moving in.
So here's a question. There's a Castle recording studio that's in Franklin, not far from me, that actually looks like a castle.
Oh, really?
And that wouldn't have been, this was the Air Castle.
Well, right. And, But they called it, I guess they shortened, instead of Castle Recording Laboratory, they decided, because it was all new.
Yeah.
Everything we were doing was being done for the first time. So the Castle Studio, I'm guessing it was probably in the National Life Building, wouldn't you think?
In the studio itself?
Yeah.
Like kind of recording in our production room.
In the building somewhere.
That's pretty cool.
We had Kelly and I were looking at those pictures where you are featured in the Opry 100 book, Charlie.
Page 291. By the way.
Congratulations.
Yes.
We had a chandelier in the studio, the very first studio in those days.
Yeah, I would not have fit in well in that crew. I see how well dressed they were.
Kelly and I have decided that's what's missing.
That's
what's missing here in the Acuff
Well, we got 25-foot ceilings. We could do. It'd be much like Phantom of the Opera, where it comes crashing every show.
I was just about to say, if you've seen Phantom of the Opera, you're like, maybe not. Maybe we won't do that. Okay, let's hop into some entertainment headlines. Sad to say that Pope Francis has passed away. For anybody that is just waking up and hasn't heard that news, that happened just hours after he had been out on the balcony there waving to everyone and blessing them on Easter. And then
he greeted them,
away.
and then somebody else did
the
mass.
mass.
Yeah, because he was not feeling. But he hasn't looked good even since he came home. When he was hospital bound for such a long time.
Yeah, and now we're going through the whole. And isn't there a series now that's called Conclave that's on one of the streaming shows that's like total fiction?
These are your people,
about that progressed on from the movie. Because it was an Academy Award winning or nominated.
Oh, maybe
movie.
that was it. That was it.
Yeah,
That's
and based on a great book. Yeah.
So we're about to go into that.
So,
I guess,
so
in
any
a couple
Catholic
weeks.
qualifies to become
Any
Pope?
baptized Catholic male can be Pope.
So Charlie Maddow's got a shot?
Yeah, just like I could be president. Yeah, all you have to be is the president is 35 and a U.S. citizen.
Would you rather be president or would you rather be Pope?
Oh.
Can I just go back to being Colin Reed like you guys were talking about a couple of days ago?
He's both.
Of all?
Yes.
Of all? That would be my choice too. Well, we have this great video and I love it because you think about how people go out on tour and they do this grueling tour and it looks so fun, but also, behind the scenes, there's a lot of stuff happening. So Kelsey Ballerini shared last night of her tour after she fell on stage, bless her heart, while she was singing Friends in Low Places. She went backstage and she said it was the final shed of her big girl tour. What does that mean? Well, she'd been keeping us all fooled. She was wearing a wig the entire tour. I had no clue. It looked so much like her hair. I guarantee they had the wig made specifically to match her real hair.
Well, this is why they call them glam or hair and makeup artists.
Right.
Because it's a gift to be able to
It
do
is a
what they do.
gift, and she looked phenomenal. But she said, it's so much wear and tear on your real hair that it's smarter to keep your hair under a wig cap and then put this wig on. So she videoed the last time of that happening, and we were like, it was a real Hannah Montana moment. She was Hannah Montana on stage and then Miley backstage.
So everybody watching, that's in time lapse. How long would that actually take to do? Like how fast did they speed it up? Faster to de-wig or to wig?
No, to de-wig would be faster, I think. Well, no, maybe not because of the glue, because she did have a lot of glue on there. I would say at least 30 to 45 minutes.
So you need the glue. You can't just have like the net holding it in place. There's too much movement for that.
Not with what she was doing. You would definitely want to glue it. That's a lace front wig. So the way that those come, it has a lace that actually goes all the way down. Right. And then they will go in and they will map out where your natural hairline is and go through with a tiny pair of scissors and cut where your natural hairline is and then glue that down.
Charlie, where is your natural hairline? Underneath that ball.
Well, where did it begin originally, or where is it now? Actually, it's not bad in the front. It's just this part in the middle of the back that's not terribly.
We can get that spray can stuff for that. Remember?
I have seen.
I've forgotten all about that stuff.
Remember the Fabulous Baker Boys with the bridges? That was a scene where they did it every morning. Every day. Yeah.
Spray it on there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Little Big Town's headed to Hollywood. Everybody, they're a part of a really cool event. This is going on next week. It's the Women's Cancer Research Fund. They're there with Rita Wilson and Tom Hanks as the honorary chairs of an unforgettable evening with designer Tom Ford, Olivia Munn, Magic Mike, and your friends and neighbors. They will be given the Courage Award for raising awareness through their old breast cancer journey. Comedian Whitney Cummings is going to be there as the host. It's happening on Monday. So congratulations to Lady A and Jennifer Nettles and Kevin Bacon. The two things we didn't know we needed are now together. She is writing music with him. She said,